software project management. So in this unit, we are going to deal with project lifecycle and effort estimation. So first topic under that is software process and process model, choice of process model, delivery, application, development, agile methods, dynamic system development method, extreme programming, Scrum, managing interactive processes, basics of software estimation, cost estimation techniques, cosmic function points, and parametric productivity model staffing pattern. So these are the topics we are going to discuss in English. So basically, see what is a software process and software process model. So the software product development process usually starts with when a request for the product is received from the customer. So when the requirements or the changes, the software process during the software development process. So usually the basic step is the creation of software models. So starting from the inception stage. So first the initial stage is the inception stage. At this point, the product undergoes a series of transformation through a few identifiable stages. So it overcomes many stages. It is fully developed and released to the customer. Okay, so next stage is after release. The product is used by the customer, and during the time the product needs to be maintained. So fixing bugs and enhancing functionalities will be undergone in this stage. So after release stages mainly time for maintenance. Okay. So the set of identified stages through which a product transfers from inception to requirement from the life cycle of the product. Life cycle model, it is also called as a process model. It is a graphical or textual representation of its life cycle. Next, coming to the choice of process model, there are a number of choices for selecting the process model. So first, a software process model is a simplified representation of a software process. Each model represents a process from a specific perspective. The generic models abstraction of the process, okay, that can be explained in different approaches. And the software includes four activities. The main major four activities are software specification, software design and implementation, software verification and validation, and finally software evaluation. So at this stage in software evaluation type, we are going to see the various models, that is various process models. Basically, there are four process models, namely waterfall model, spiral model, incremental, delivery model. So the first one is waterfall model. So in waterfall model, it is a sequential approach where fundamental activity of a process represented as a separate phase. Okay, it is arranged in a linear order. Whereas other models will be in different patterns. So first basic model is the waterfall model. So it is represented in a linear sequential approach. In waterfall model, you must plan and schedule all the activities before starting working on them. Okay, so the main concept is plan-driven process. Okay, the plan-driven process is the process where all the activities are planned first and the progress is measured against the plan. So whatever plan we are doing, it should be achieved at the final. Okay, when the agile process planning incremental, and it is easier to change the process to reflect the requirement changes. So the basic phases of waterfall model is requirements, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. So these were the representation of waterfall model. So it will be in linear sequential pattern. First one is requirement definition, and next one is system and software design. Next one is implementation and unit testing, and then integration and system testing. And finally, maintenance phase, that is operation and maintenance phase, will be executed. So this is how the waterfall model will follow the process. Next one, we are going to see about the spiral model. Spiral model is similar to the incremental model with more emphasis placed on risk analysis. It is also similar to the incremental model, whereas here it is risk analysis is concentrated on. Okay, it is also having four phases: planning, risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. A software project typically passes through these phases. Okay, so it will follow the iterations in spiral model. In waterfall model, we have seen it will be like a linear pattern, whereas in spiral model, it will be like iterations. The baseline spiral starting a planning phase. Baseline, basically initially it will start from the planning phase. Requirements is gathered, risk is assessed, and each subsequent spiral builds on the baseline spiral. It is one of the software development models like waterfall, agile, and V model. So this is the diagram that represents the spiral model. Initially, it starts from the requirements analysis. So here we are doing some reviews, and then we are doing risk analysis in each and every iterations. And here we following the prototypes. That is, each and every iteration have a different prototype, and finally we have an operational prototype. And then next one, concept of operations, and then requirement plans, life cycle plan. Again, once if the one iteration is completed, it will go through the next iteration. Advantage and disadvantages is mentioned here. Advantages: high amount of risk analysis, hence avoidance of risk is enhanced. Good for large and mission critical projects. Strong approval and documentation control. Additional functionality can be added at later too. Software is produced early in the software life cycle. Even though we have many advantages in spiral model, we do have disadvantages for spiral model. The main disadvantages is that it can be costly. Risk analysis requires highly specific expertise, so we cannot do with the common employees. So we need expertise. Project success is highly dependent on the risk analysis phase. It doesn't work well with the smaller projects. It always works on the complex products. Next type we are going to see is about the prototyping. So, software prototyping. A prototype is a version of a system or part of the system that develops quickly to check the customer's requirements or feasibility. In prototypes, the client is involved throughout the development process, which increases the likelihood of client acceptance of the final implementation. So, in each and every phase, the client will have a conversation between the developers so that even a small changes can be made at the point and it will not carry over to the next phase. Okay. So, a software prototype can be used in the requirement engineering in the system design. Okay. So, this is the diagrammatic representation of prototyping phases. Uh, there are four phases in prototyping model. First one is establish objectives. Second one is define prototype functionality. Third one, develop the prototype. And fourth one is evaluate the prototype. First one, establish prototype objectives. In that, we are going to plan what type of prototype we are going to use, and then defining prototype functionality. Here, we are just going to make some outline definition for that. And next one is develop prototype. In that, executing the prototype, and then final stage is evaluate prototype. In that, we are just going to evaluate the report that finally executed. Okay, and the fourth model is incremental model, and this is the picture representation of the incremental model. First, an outline description is provided, and then concurrent activities are being followed. In that concurrent activities, the first one is specification, second one is development, and third one is validation. So after that, concurrent activities, we are just giving the initial version, intermediate versions, and final versions. So this is how incremental model will work to create the software process. And we have a differentiation that is between the incremental and the waterfall model. Incremental software development is better than a waterfall approach for most business, e-commerce, and personal systems. By developing the software incrementally, it is cheaper and easier to make the changes in the software as it is being developed. So compared to the waterfall model, incremental development, three important benefits. So what are the three important benefits is cost of accommodating changes, customer feedback, rapid delivery. So next topic we are going to see is about the RAD, that is rapid application development. RAD is a model that is it is also like incremental model. Okay. In RAD model, the components or functions are developed in parallel as if they are in mini projects. Okay. The developments are time boxed, delivered, and then assembled into a working prototype. This, this can quickly give the customer something to see and use to provide feedback regarding the delivery and their requirements. So here customer feedback is taken regarding the delivery and their requirements. So there are some phases in RAD model. So first one is a business modeling, second one is data modeling, third one is process modeling, fourth one is application generation, and fifth one is testing and turnover. So in basic modeling, the information flow is identified between the various business functions. Okay, so next one is data modeling. In this, information gathered about the business modeling is used to define the data objects that are needed for the business. And next one is process modeling. Under process modeling, data objects defined in a data modeling are converted to achieve the business information flow to achieve the specific business objectives. Here, descriptions are identified and created for proof of data objects. And next phase is application generation. Here, automated tools are used to convert process models into a code and the actual system. And then the final stage is the testing and turnover. Test and new components on all the interfaces. Here, mainly testing is done. Okay, so the advantage of RAD model is reduced development time, increases reusability of components, quick initial review occurs. Okay, encourage customer feedbacks. Always in this model, customers will be throughout have the conversation throughout the with the developers, because whenever the changes they need, they can easily convey them in each phases, so that it will not be taken into the next stage. That is a risk and errors may decrease. Okay, integration from very beginning slows a lot of integration issues. And disadvantages of RAN model. Even though we have many advantages, we do have disadvantages for RAN model also. Depends on strong team and individual performance for identifying business requirements. Only system that can be modernized can be built using RAD. Requires highly skilled developers and designers. High dependencies or modeling skills. And the final disadvantages is inapplicable to cheaper projects. So next topic we are going to see is about agile methods. The agile methodology derives from a namesake manifesto, which advanced ideas that were developed to counter more convoluted methods. Promoting similar methods to learn the key principles of agile are. What are the key principles of agile methods are? First one is satisfying customer is foremost important. Develop projects with inspired contributors. Interactions are best when done in person. Software that works